this brand new video. I'm Maria and I talk all things money. Welcome or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. In previous videos, I have spoken to you guys about the fact that I'm now going to be starting a cash budget situation with my cash envelope system. I filmed even the unboxing of the, the stuff that I got, and I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update as to how it's going. I am waiting for some things to arrive in the mail regarding this, just because I feel like when you start cash budgeting, something that Zoe Pichard, I forget her last name because it's just like, it's very en français, but her name is Zoe. I'll post her videos or her photo or whatever up here. I'll also link her stuff downstairs. She is somebody who I've been following now for a few months. And Zoe, if you're watching this, hello. Thanks for everything that you've put out into the internet that helps not only me, but other people as well. Something that she said in a video that I watched the other day of hers is that there is a lot of learning curve to the cash budgeting system, not in terms of that it's difficult and that you have to like learn a lot of things, but in terms of like your budget, how you have to adjust it for it to actually work for you versus just like guessing numbers and like leaving them the same, and then you get discouraged because the numbers don't work for you and then you just quit the system altogether. Something that she also said is that there's like a lot of adjustment in terms of, for example, the cash envelopes that she uses and such. She just kind of kept on ordering stuff, which is kind of like what I'm doing, and that's why I'm giving you this context, because it's important to know that at the very first month or the first 2 months and even the first like 3 or 4 months, it may not work fully just because you're still figuring out a system that works for you. But I did kind of want to give an update. I've been using the cash system that I have now for about, when did I get my order? Like beginning of November, and it's now November 21st, and so I've been using it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and so I kind of wanted to give an update as to how it's going and my thoughts on it so far. So like I said, this is my trifold wallet. You are able to purchase, I purchased this off of Amazon. I already went through this in the video beforehand. No cards are showing, which is good. I'm just gonna be looking at my binder and showing you guys, not showing you guys, but like telling you guys what I feel could work better for me. One thing is that, which is on its way to my house, I'm gonna have 2 separate binders, one from an Etsy shop and then another one from the same person who I purchased my trifold wallet from, and everybody's information will be downstairs. I'll try to link things exactly so you guys can find them. I want 2 folders for my house, or 2 binders I should say, a stay-at-home emergency, and the second one will be kind of like a sinking funds or like less important or like low priority binder. I don't know if I want to do all the bedazzling with like different dashboards and a whole bunch of stuff that I see on the cash budgeting internet world. It is very pretty to look at, but I can only imagine how things add up in cost, and that's another thing that I want to target on this video, and maybe I'll dive into it a little bit deeper in a separate video. Some people may think that it's kind of counterintuitive to invest in all these products just for you to save some cash at the end of the day because you're cash budgeting, but you're spending all this money perhaps on credit card or whatever it is to make these purchases that supposedly are going to help you. Yes, I think do whatever you need to do in order to help you get organized with your finances, because at the end of the day, I think Zoe also said this on her channel, if you buying 3 binders to help you customize and organize your thoughts related to your budget into cash categories, that way you don't spend in the future, I think doing an investment at the beginning is definitely something that is acceptable and appropriate in order for you to make that money's worth that you're saving in the investing part of the beginning of the process. You're going to save a whole bunch of that and more as the months come if you're doing the cash budgeting properly, if you're not overspending because you are sticking to the budget that you gave yourself. Let's say that everything that you bought at the beginning of your purchases cost you $250. If you after 3 months indeed saved more than $250 because you're sticking to your cash budget, instead of like you tapping your card everywhere or your phone everywhere, because you're tapping it everywhere and spending like, I don't know, $1,000 on groceries when your budget is only $600, when you are spending out on clothes, let's say $80 when your budget is 0. It really depends on how you visualize the system, but also again, if this investment is going to help you become more organized, why not? And everybody is a separate and individual person. Whatever works for you may not work for the next person, or vice versa. And so I just kind of wanted to target that point because I feel like I will get comments about that in terms of like, oh, it's very counterintuitive to spend so much money on like a brand new wallet when you had one that was perfectly fine working before, and like all these binders to stay at home and like cute little decorations with your initials when that's unnecessary. I get it. However, if it's going to help me be more motivated to actually stick to the cash budgeting system, why not? And that's me. If it inspires you, then great. If it doesn't, then move on. Going back to the binder situation, and I have it written down here somewhere, I do have in mind 2 binders that I am in the process of waiting for or in the middle of ordering and organizing. In here I have my wallet, which I am gonna basically be using my everyday or every week expenses on there. So my categories are gonna be groceries, gas, spending, which is my personal spending, kindness, which is if I want to give a homeless person something, or if I want to give an extra generous tip, or if I want to give to my church, and then coffee. So there's going to be 5 categories in there. I'm still obviously in the midst of thinking if I need anything else in there, but I don't think so. And the reason why the budgeting system works is because every category has a set amount of money. If you pass it, you technically can move money around in the envelopes that you have. However, you can't refill your money and spend that new money, because then you're going past your budget and refreshing it instead of waiting for the new month in order to put the cash in. One of the 2 first binders that I mentioned that I wanted to have at home is a stay-at-home emergency binder, and for this I kind of wanted to have an emergency home binder because because one, it's not really safe to carry around a whole bunch of emergency cash money around in your day-to-day wallet that you're going to be spending outside. And depending on the type of envelope that you have as well, if it's not like a zipper one, and like let's say that all your cash falls out, that can put you at a risk of like being seen. And if you're not around the right people or around the right neighborhood, that's not something that I would encourage anybody to do. And so to emphasize that, I want to have part emergency cash at home, and I also want to part of our emergency fund is in a high interest savings account. And so that's why I kind of want to have some available in cash already good to go at home, and then some in a high interest savings account. That way it can still accumulate interest, and technically if we have enough money at home, there's no need to touch that. We just have to fill up that cash envelope once again, instead of, you know, having to necessarily, if it's an emergency, you sometimes don't have time to be over here transferring from one bank institution to another. And so that's why I figured having some cash at home would be good, and another one in a high yield savings account would be even better. So kind of like splitting the two. But that's the purpose of that binder, and I will decorate it and make it all cute. That way I'm like enthusiastic about like looking at it and saving up for it. But and besides the emergency fund binder, half of it will be an envelope in cash. The other 3 envelopes that I have in there are expenses for my daughter, expenses for my stepson, and expenses that have to do with medical situations, such as going to the dentist. Sometimes your coverage at work doesn't cover the entire portion of the cost of going to the dentist or to get new glasses, eye exams, etc. And so I just figured that those would be the categories that I would have in there. And the other binder that I wanted to have at home is stay-at-home sinking funds, or like unnecessary expenses or special occasions sinking funds binder. I don't necessarily want to call it low priority, because depending on the time of the year, it's not going to be low priority, it's going to be high priority. So that's why I wanted to call it maybe like sinking funds or special occasions. So in here I'm going to have eating out, so it's whenever family goes out to eat dinner, or let's say that I want to treat out somebody to coffee or whatever it is, that's going to be that, which is separate from my coffee, my personal coffee spending, and separate from the spending envelope that I have in my wallet, which is going to be personal spending for myself, like whether I want to go out and get a new jacket, new shoes, whatever, that's separate. So I'm categorizing these in my head the way that that makes sense to me. Besides the eating out envelope, I'm going to have 2 separate envelopes, one for one type of visa that I have and one for another type of visa that I have. The purpose of those that I'm anticipating is to, let's say that I ever put something, let's say that it was for groceries, and I put it on a credit card by mistake because I just forgot my envelope at home or whatever it is. The point is to put the relevant amount that I spent in credit card, grab that cash from the correct envelope and put it into the visa envelope that I have in order to put it back into the bank. A lot of people who may have the cash budgeting system may just have like put it on credit or put it on debit envelopes. I just wanted to kind of like have the 2 cards separate from each other. That way if I spend it from one card, let's say my TD bank card, I wanted to have those separate. That way, oh, if I spend it from my visa and I have the cash, I'm going to put it on the visa envelope for this bank institution instead of putting it in this one. And then this one had like no business buying the groceries, I bought it from the second one. And so those are the 2 folders that I have to put it back on credit, and those are specified per the account that I have or the banking institution that I have. And then the other special occasions, I have 6, which are for my brother, for my mom, for my husband. I have one for my birthday, I have one for Christmas, and then I have one for vacation. So those are a total of 8 new envelopes that I ordered. I'm not going to specify for Mother's Day, for Valentine's Day, for Father's Day, for Thanksgiving, for like, no. And again, no shame to people who need 8 folders per category in their life, but that's just kind of what works for me. And even the folders that I have, I feel like that's very little folders in comparison to what I've seen online. I do have separate folders for my children, for my stepson and for my daughter. However, I'm not going to be specifying one for my daughter's birthday, one for my daughter's education, one for my daughter's medical bills, one for her fund, and then the same 4 folders for my stepson. No, that's way too much, at least for now. Maybe because I'm just getting started on everything. Those are the folders that or the envelopes that I have coming up. They should be getting delivered in the next few days, which is really, really nice because I'm kind of like feeling myself when it comes to all this, and so I feel like it's gonna work for me. So let's just get going with how cash budgeting in general has been going for me. So overall, I really do like the system of being able to hand over the cash. I do feel like I'm letting go of something when I hand somebody cash to pay for something versus tapping my card or tapping my phone. I never tap my phone, but I'm just saying that example because I know that people do that with Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or whatever. It is really like, you're taking my money. But I do feel like it does control my expenses a lot more, although I'm still adjusting some things of how I want to do things. For example, let's say I go to Walmart for my groceries and my Walmart MasterCard, it gives me cash back, it gives me points or whatever it is. If I have the cash allocated in my groceries envelope, what I do is that I tap with my card the amount I have due for the groceries, and then I go to the customer service and pay off that balance right away with the money that I have in my groceries envelope. In my mind, that makes sense to do because I have the money allocated in my wallet. The problem lies when, for example, I don't check how much cash I have in my envelope, and let's say that I spend $200 in groceries for that week or whatever it is, and then I suddenly only have like $150. Then that $50 extra that I spent on the groceries that is not allocated in cash in my cash envelope for groceries has been spent on credit, and I can't pay it off right away. And I definitely wouldn't want to go into the other categories, because then those other categories, if I take cash out of them, out of my coffee fund, out of my sinking funds or whatever it is, all those other areas are suffering. In general, I feel like that's something that I have to navigate with. Something that I did do as well, when I got paid, I didn't have the car at the time, so I told my mom to bring me the cash from the bank. She was coming to my house anyway, but I told her to withdraw the certain amount of cash that I needed for the next 2 weeks. I get paid on a bi-weekly basis, so every 2 weeks. And so, sorry, I don't get paid bi-weekly. I get paid like the 15th and the last day of the month. I don't know what that is in English. In Spanish, we just call it quincenal, so every 15 days, halfway through the month and the last day of the month. And so I told her to bring the cash that I needed from her, and I allocated in the respective categories and such. And so what I was thinking of doing is getting out my amount of money that I spent in a month for groceries, divided in half, and that is what I'm gonna take out for groceries, for example, every 15 days. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to take out a whole lump sum from my checking account that I got paid, and I wouldn't have enough money to like pay off other balances and such, unless I like pay off all the balances with the second paycheck of the month, and everything that I need in cash I withdraw midway of the month. You get what I'm saying? It really is like a learning journey. I'm not in a rush to master this. If it takes me 3 months, 4 months, whatever, it shall happen. And so that's one thing that I wanted to kind of update you guys on. Another thing that I discovered, as much as you want to dive into, you know, being frugal and like investing in this cash budgeting system, you really do have to do your research no matter what. Not to target one person over another, and not to target people in general who do spend a lot of money on these products and such, but you really do have to like search the market before you get your products. Because I saw a lot of people with very competitive prices selling binders, whether it's somebody on YouTube that has an Etsy shop or somebody on YouTube that has like their own independent like website and such. A lot of people have very good quality products, and they can customize, and they can like put your initials on it or whatever it is. And even like some companies that I would never even touch, just because they have like leather products and all these things that I just don't. I'm not a fan of leather, just because of my moral perspective on animal cruelty or whatever. And even just saying that, I don't know if this binder or this trifold wallet that I have here is genuine leather or not. I didn't check that. And so what I wanted to mention with all this, you really have to do your research in order to find something that is within your budget and that suits your needs, and maybe doesn't break some of the breaking points that you would consider as deal breakers. For example, if this was genuine leather, I would be pretty upset right now, and you know, that was my bad for not checking. And so with what I was gonna say is that you can't fall in love with just one particular or a handful of particular creators and just buy their stuff just because you don't want to do the research and dive into the deeper section of like, okay, well, who sells the same thing for maybe less, or who sells the same thing but non-leather. And so I just wanted to say that because I did kind of learn that along the way. The things that I've ordered from different shops and stuff is sometimes like easier, although time consuming, it's easier to like shop around, and that way you're satisfied the one time that you're doing things versus like regretting or being resentful towards the product that you spend your money towards in order to help you save your money. And I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to mention to you guys. And yeah, like I said, this is a process that will take time for you to get used to it, and obviously it will adjust according to what you need. I am waiting for some things in the mail. Should be arriving in the next few weeks. With the whole Canada Post strike that is going on currently, November of 2024, if I didn't mention that before. So I don't know if I'm exactly going to be getting those items soon, but hopefully before Christmas. I don't know when the strike will end. That's just a little update that I had for you guys in terms of my cash budgeting system and a wallet, and I will make a new updated video once those new products come in, which will help me organize, and I'm super excited for those. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know how you like your cash budgeting system, any suggestions that you have that I'm not doing that would probably benefit me as a beginner. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Also, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. And besides that, if you guys are new here and would like to join the ride and stay tuned for all the videos that I may have in the future, please make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It would make me super happy, and it does really support the channel, along with giving me a thumbs up. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. Also, share the video if you feel like a friend of yours or a family member would enjoy it and would find it informative as well. But until the next video, guys, Dios los bendiga, God bless you guys, and Maria will talk money on the next video.